There are many a sport that require complete focus of will and determination. There are sports that require patience and precision, strength and stamina, but most importantly, discipline. What if I told you of a sport so excruciating and painful that it would bring back memories of a bright, sweaty, hot, skin-filled dungeon with dozens of young men battling for the sheer thrill of it? I present to you the sport of wrestling. I know to the untrained eye what this looks like, and to the uncultured, when they think of wrestling, they think of WWE/professional wrestling. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about two people in singlets, headgear, and shoes going out on a 36 by 36 foot mat and beating the ever-loving snot out of each other. You see this guy? Yeah. He won his third NCAA championship with count 'em, two broken frickin' knees. So yeah, don't come spreading your homophobic preconceptions with toxic masculinity about how two men making confrontational contact with each other is gay, because you're too much of a wimp to actually challenge yourself and do what these men and women do. With that,
needs to come up or switch to a single leg. This is where Dake is good. Good defense.
Anyway, when discussing any sport, I know that there are going to be people who are like, "But Jesse, what are the rules?" Never fret, my effeminate fellow, and shut up so I can tell you. Wrestling takes place on a mat. It ranges from 32 feet all the way up to 42 feet on the high school and college level. There are 3 periods. In high school, all periods are 2 minutes. In college, the first period is 3 minutes, while the remaining 2 are 2 minutes. A wrestling match contains 2 wrestlers, one home/green wrestler, and one away/red wrestler. Points are scored a variety of ways and range from division to division. So, to keep things simple, and because I'm talking about a college wrestler, I'm going to talk about college wrestling scoring. A takedown, reversal, and holding someone's shoulders adjacent to the mat for 2 to 4 seconds are all ways to score 2 points. An escape and riding your opponent, yes, that is the technical term for it, for 1 cumulative minute of the match are 2 ways to get 1 point. Holding your opponent down adjacent to the mat by his shoulders for 5 seconds is 4 points. And a pin/fall/pinfall, which is holding your opponent's shoulder blades flat to the mat for 3 seconds, is an automatic win. With that, wrestling is a martial art. It requires aggression! So, because of this, a lot of wrestlers tend to look pretty scary. But if you know what you're doing, you have nothing to be afraid of. Sun Tzu said something like, if you know yourself and know the guy you're messing up, then you need not fear the outcome of 1,000 fights, or something like that. I don't know, philosophy. I'm tired. Regardless, there's one wrestler that I've looked up to ever since I got into the sport when I was 16 years old. This is someone who struck fear into the hearts and minds of every man that he stepped on the mat with. He was a powerhouse who didn't care about who you were. He was a wrestler from the University of Michigan, and his name is Adam Coon. In collegiate wrestling, there are 10 weight classes: 125, 133, 141, 149, 157, 165, 174, 184, 197, and heavyweight, or 285. For the purposes of this video, I will be talking about the big boys, the 285 pounders. Note that not all heavyweights actually weigh 285 pounds, that's just the max weight you're allowed to be as a wrestler. With that, who is Adam Coon? Adam Coon was born on November 14th, 1994 in Fowlerville, Michigan, standing in at 6 foot 6 inches and weighing right at 285 pounds. Adam Coon attended Fowlerville High School, where he was an all-state football player for the Fowlerville Gladiators and was a multiple-time state champion wrestler, going 55-0 his senior year, winning the state championship by pinning his opponent in the first period in the Division II 285-pound weight class for the state. Adam Coon entered his freshman year at the University of Michigan as a true freshman and finished in the blood round of the national championships with a national ranking of 9th. Adam Coon's sophomore year was his breakout year in the eyes of wrestling spectators. He was seeded 6th in the nation, which you need to be 8th in order to get All-American, and managed to upset Michael McCollin from Northwestern University in the quarterfinals, but then lost in the finals to Nick Gwizdowski of North Carolina State, finishing 2nd. His junior year was when I started getting into wrestling religiously, and that was also the rise of a certain Buckeye from Ohio State. The man, the myth, the legend, the reincarnation of David himself, Kyle Snyder. Kyle Snyder is my hero. He's the one wrestler that I looked up to the most and is the reason I call myself a Buckeye when it comes to Big Ten wrestling. Kyle Snyder wrestled at 197 pounds his freshman year and lost by pin to Kyvan Gatson of Iowa State in the finals. Since then, he moved up to heavyweight to condition himself for the world and Olympic level. On the college level, he was 5'11", 225 pounds, wrestling guys who outweighed him by 40 pounds minimum. This way, when he cut down to 213 for the world and Olympic freestyle wrestling, those guys wouldn't pose much of a challenge. Kyle Snyder went into his sophomore year beating Adam Coon in the Big Ten championships, and was also the number 1 ranked wrestler in the world at 213 pounds. Adam Coon was knocked out of the spotlight for not 1, but 2 years, as the spotlight seemed to be on the young and upcomer Kyle Snyder. Adam Coon finished 3rd in the 2016 NCAA tournament and didn't wrestle at all in the 2016 to 2017 school season due to injury. Meanwhile, Kyle Snyder was a 2-time world gold medalist and a 1-time Olympic gold medalist who beat Nick Gwizdowski in 20 2016 and Connor Medbury of Wisconsin in 2017 to become a two-time national champion. This was it. This was Adam Coon's last shot to win the national title. He had competed on the world level as well as taking second in Greco-Roman wrestling. So the number one light heavyweight wrestler versus the number two heavyweight wrestler in the world. Everyone else was competing for third place at this point. These men had met 3 times in the 2017-2018 season. The first time, Adam Coon won 3-1. The second time was at the Big Ten Championships, where Kyle Snyder won 4-2. And finally, in the finals of the NCAA tournament, it was sadly not Adam Coon's day. Adam Coon never won a collegiate national title, as he would go on to lose this match 3-2. At the time of me making this essay, Adam Coon is set to wrestle in the Olympics. From there, he is set to go into the Professional Football League, as he will be an offensive lineman for the Tennessee Titans. The only thing I have to say is Godspeed to the real-life Paul Bunyan. At the time of me writing this, the 2021 Olympics haven't happened yet. I can only hope for the best. Adam Coon, along with many other wrestlers from other schools, helped me to find confidence in who I am as a person. I looked up to these athletes because they are the literal definition of grit. Wrestling is a combination of gymnastics, tumbling, grappling, powerlifting, and running, all rolled up into one sport. It is a complete sport that tests the limits of what the human body is capable of. The thing with wrestling is that the way someone can score a point or multiple points is completely subjective. It allows for freedom of athletes to try things out, see how their bodies move, and adapt to the size, weight, or strength of their opponent. As someone who hopes to be a teacher, I can only wish to pass on lessons, morals, and stories that someone could learn in a wrestling room and apply them in the classroom. Lessons like, where the head goes, the body follows, or build your lead to carry your wave. These simple little statements had a profound impact on me, and I've used them where I previously failed to. When I graduated high school with a 2.2 GPA, I knew I had to do something different. I applied to community college, got in, and used the lessons I learned in wrestling in order to study, read, and get my grades up. This isn't something that football or basketball teaches. Sure, those sports are fun and provide children with a sense of confidence. Studies show that kids who are in athletics have a higher degree of confidence and are more likely to do well in school. But wrestling teaches more than just be confident. It promotes things like healthy dieting to maintain weight, hydration, practical use of strength training, and a healthy lifestyle. I used to get up at 5 o'clock every morning to go run 4.4 miles, and I loved every minute of those runs. Being able to smell the cold air, watching the sun rise as I made my way back to the house, and being able to listen to things like music, podcasts, and other things on my phone to wake me up, all contributed to positive mental health when I was in school, but also an improved quality of life. As much as this essay was a love letter to Adam Coon, it was more of a love letter to the sport of wrestling as a whole. The hardest things about the sport that you hate at first, like endless running, annoying teammates, and the coach's ruthlessness in not allowing water breaks, you come to miss all of that as years pass. During this pandemic, I suffered a severe case of lockdown blues and ballooned up to 190 pounds from 170. Now, I'm hovering around 165 to 170 after many months of diet and exercise, of which I all learned from wrestling. In closing, Adam Coon is one of the greatest wrestlers to never win an NCAA title. Wrestling is a beautiful sport and deserves more respect in the public eye, and people should learn something from the activities they partake in. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Until next time, thank you for watching, and goodbye.